Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time hitting this particular YouTube channel, all we do right here is actually creating content around visualization, creating dashboards or report in either Power BI or Microsoft Excel. So this dashboard we are saying is actually created using Microsoft Excel. So if you want to follow along, please go ahead and download the file and actually let's work together. To create a beautiful and insightful dashboard, you need a roadmap. Let's see what the roadmap is. So now that you have seen what you're about to get into, so this is the files you have just downloaded to your system. After you unzip it, you see images and as well databases. So if you actually open it up, you see this particular file right here called AdventureWorks. So it has a lot of tables inside it. We cannot use normal Excel VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP to do this. We have to go very much advanced in this particular dashboard. Let's get it. The very first thing you need to do is to actually open a blank, Excel, nothing in it, no data, nothing like that. So we have something as blank as this. Okay, what do? We have to actually go get our data. So we're not putting our data in the Excel sheet. Not that it's too heavy, but lots of tables we like to actually create this as if we are creating dashboard in Power BI. Let's get it. All right, now you click on this particular part where it says data right here. And from there, you go ahead to where it says get data. So from there, you choose the file. You have your data right in. And our extension is actually from Excel Workbook. So once I click on it, it's going to actually navigate me to my system where I have it right in. So here we go. We have the databases here. Click on it and now click on this AdventureWorks and import. So those are the tables we have in AdventureWorks. Then what we can do right now is to pick the table one after the other into Power Query and have it cleaned first. So we don't need to actually take this into Excel and clean it. So we have to go very much advanced. So for the first time, I'm going to take my fact internet sales and we have those three buttons right here. We have load, transform data, and cancel. So let me walk through this particular one right here. So when you actually click on the drop down, you have load and load tool. So we're going to be talking about this in a jiffy. So let us leave this for now. So when you load this, it's going to be either load into Excel or load to the model. So now we have this particular transform, which is going to take it to Power Query. So that is what we're going to use. All right, welcome to Power Query environment. So we have our first table inside Power Query. And if I actually scroll to the right-hand corner right now, those are what we have. So before we start writing this and cleaning our data, let's get our other tables right in. So to do that, it's not like Power BI where you can bring it in without you loading this to, the Power BI environment from Power Query. So on this one now, you would have to first of all load this into your model. So what I'm going to do right now is to click on this particular place where it says close and load. So now if I say close and load or close and load to, they are different. So close and load will definitely load this into Excel worksheet, right? Now, while this one will give you a choice to make, any of these particular choices we have right here. Look at it now. So I'm going to actually say only create connection and add this to the data model. This is what you do. So we don't see it on this sheet. If this is your first time doing something like this in Excel, don't worry, you have it. So click OK. So as you can see, it's loading it up right here. So you might have your own at this particular right-hand corner. It's all good. You can move it anywhere you like. So it's actually loading everything. So let's go ahead and pick on that table. So I'm going to go right to data. So we come right here. So we click and when we click on this, so we still see the same thing. So just click on import. So now I'm going to pick my sales directory. So can we pick multiple tables? No, we can't pick multiple tables. So we can just actually go one after the other. Then go ahead and click on transform data. All right, there you have it. So what happens if you want to click right here and make a choice and mistakenly you click on this one, it's going to actually send this particular table data into here for you. And this is what you have. So if mistakenly you did this and this is not what you want, how can you fix this? What can you do? Very simple. It's not really complicated. You can get it back to the model. So what you can do right now is to come over here, right click, and actually go ahead and see where it says load to. So once you click on it right now, you can actually move this away from here to the model. So I'm going to click on only create connection and add this to data model. So click on OK, and you can read through this, but for now, I'm going to click on OK. Now it's gone. Can you see it? It's now blank. So all you have is a new sheet open for you that is actually blank right now. All right. We have all our tables right here. I think 6 different tables. So if mistakenly you click on this and it's your first time, you can't find it anymore. So don't be some kind of freak out like, what am I going to do? So all you have to do is just to go up to the ribbon here. My customization is some kind of weird, so you might not have the same thing like me, but don't worry, you still have this ribbon at the top here. So make sure you click on data. If presumably you are on home, click on data, and you're going to see query and connections. So once you click on it, it brings this back to you. So when you hover over it, you have this, and you can step in and do anything and view your table from here, but it doesn't really make any sense doing that, but you can make a check. So what you can do is just to click on this particular place and click on edit, and it's going to take you straight up to Power Query. All right, we are here on Power Query. The first table for we to actually start, trimming and getting what we want from is actually our fact internet sales table right here. So we don't want to keep all of those particular columns because we don't need all of them. Actually, we don't actually need all of them. So what columns do we need and what we don't need? So how do we get them off? Okay, the very first thing I'm going to show you is this particular place where it says choose column. So if I click on it, I can go to choose column, and this particular go to column is actually for you to actually move to a particular column. Maybe you want to go to something like total product cost. So if I click on it right now, it jumps us there right away. That is not what it is that we want right now. So let's click on this place and go to choose columns. So from choose columns, we want to actually keep some few columns that we want to use and get off other columns because we don't want to keep what we don't need. And those are what we have right here. The very first thing I'm going to do is to actually unselect everything from here. And I want to keep my product key, order date key, due date key here, ship date key, customer key, promotion key, and currency key. I don't need currency key. I don't even need promotion key as well. So sales territory key, I need that. And if we go down, you can see order quantity, unit price. And if I go again, I can see where it says, standard cost. I think here we go, we have it. So once you have gotten that, so all of those ones that are not checked are not going to go with us. So I'm going to click on OK. And now we have all the tables that we want. So all the columns that we want from here. Okay, now we can start getting things rightly done. So over here, I'm going to name this one to costs. So you can double click on it and name it to costs. So once you hit your enter key, so the unit price here is okay. That is very beautiful. So what I want to do right now is to create my revenue and my total cost of goods sold from here. How do we do that? Although before we go into that, there is what we call data types. So we have to check if those particular data types we have right here are correct. So you can actually automatically do it by actually, Control A to highlight every single columns you have inside this table. Then go over to transform here and you're going to see where it says detect data type. And once you click on it, it's going to fix every data type for you. But sometimes I don't used to believe this to do my thing. So I check one after the other to see if all of them are correct, or I can manually fix it all by myself. Okay, now we want to see our total revenue. How do we calculate that? So let's do it in Power Query. We can use DAX to do that in Excel as well, or we can use normal Excel formula to do it. But let us see how we can do that in Power Query. So what you can do right now is to go to add column. From add column, you have this particular place where it says custom column. Click on it. Okay, you have your custom column up. All I'm going to do right now is to type here total revenue. So with my total revenue, I'm going to come over here now and scroll down a little bit. And here's my quantity order. So I'm going to actually click on insert. And all I have to do is to actually say multiply the asterisk sign on your keyboard, and multiply by what? You multiply it by unit price. That gives you your total revenue. So we've gotten that done. Then go ahead and click on OK. So now we have our total revenue right here. So what we can do right now is to actually change it to, any of those particular data types we have right here. So I'm going to use this particular currency, and that is what you have. So you wouldn't see the dollar sign yet until you drag it into a particular, dimension. Then you see the formatting. Okay, we have done this. The next thing we have to do right now is to actually calculate the costs. And we go back here. So we have this. We're going to have to calculate the costs. Here is going to be cost of goods sold. And do this. So we go to the quantity, insert it, and we have to multiply this by what? By our cost. This is the product cost. Insert. Then click on OK. So we have gotten our cost here. We do the same formatting to it, currency. So if your country currency is not actually dollar sign, don't do it. So choose the appropriate currency that you feel like is okay by you. So that is what we want. Okay, now we have gotten this done. Let's see how we can actually get the profit out of those two we have right now. So to get the profit now, we just have to go over to the same place and we wait for it. So here we go. So we have to type in here total profit. So for total profit, we are doing subtraction. So all we do now is just to go here. So our revenue, subtract that of the cost of goods sold from it, and that gives you your profit. So this is the profit we have. So we do the same formatting, and this is all we need to do right now. So we're going to come back to this particular part of the table. For me not to keep you bored, let's do something else. Then when we need anything, we can come back right here. So the next thing now is to go to territory table here. So on the territory table, we don't have any territory for 11, sales territory key, and as well for this particular alternate key here, 0. So what can we do? We have to remove it. So to remove anything, before you do remove anything, what you have to do, you have to check across to see if it affects everything, and it does. So nothing for it. So what we can do right now, click over here and remove the NA from here. That filters this away from here for you. So we have done that. So if you can look at this column here, this column does not have anything. So we have to get a column off. So you can right click and say remove column. So if you click on remove other columns, what happens? It keeps this column for you and it takes other columns off. So if you're just getting into advanced Excel and you have not even used Power BI before, you can do Ctrl-Z on this particular condition. So what can you do to bring back everything? So it's very simple. You can look at this particular part right here where it says apply step. So on this apply steps right here, just go ahead and cancel this. It brings this back to you. So instead, what you can do is to actually get this off. So you can hit the delete key on your keyboard and it's going to have that deleted for you. That is all. So the next thing we have to do is to check across to see if all the data types we have right here are correct, and 100% text, all of that. So let me show you something that will make your life very easy when it comes to trying to know what kind of data type you have. So if you open it up right here on the data type part here, you can see 1.2 is for decimal, this dollar sign is for currency, 1, 2, 3 like this is actually for whole number, percentage. You can see the icons. So once you have mastered the icons, so when you just look across, you will know if you have the right data types. All right, let's move into the product table right here. So under the product table, we have to keep some products, some of those columns, and get off some columns. So what we can do is for we to go to, go to home and go to choose column. Here we go. So quickly, we just deselect everything. We want to keep this. We keep the product key. So if we go down, you can see where it says English product name. We pick that. We pick the color as well. Then what other thing do we take from here again? So those are the three things we need. So click on OK, and now you have all of this. So for this particular part where we have NA, so you have to actually reach out to your clients or to your manager or whoever gives you the project to ask, what can you do to NA? Should you remove it or what should you do? But in this situation, we know what we want to do. So for the NA, we have to replace the NA with unspecified. So what you can do is to right click over here and you go to where it says replace values. So once you click on replace values, you can see this particular part right here. What do you want to replace? So we want to replace NA. So look at it. I'm using small letter NA. So that is the lowercase. Is it going to work? No, I guess it's not going to work, but let's test it out. So I'm going to say on or specified. So unspecified, I hope I'm correct. Then if I go ahead and click on OK right now, it doesn't work. That was because this is some kind of case sensitive. I knew it. I just want to show you something. That was why I did it. What can we do in this situation? So we don't have to. Thanks for learning with data decision. So if you want to take any of our courses from Excel to Power BI, so come to this particular website. The link is actually in the description box. So click on it and see how you can join any of our courses right here. Keep learning. Delete or remove it from here, or we don't have to remove it again. Don't put unnecessary steps right here. So what you can do, if you look at this, we have this little gear icon or settings icon that you can click on. So clicking on it brings back this for you. So what can you do? You have to make sure you match exactly what you have on your column. So like NA in capital letter. So now we go ahead and click on OK, and let's see that. So it has been replaced. So those particular unspecified are those colors of our products that are not specified. So over here, we have to change this to products name. So we have it. Okay. So let's go down to this particular part right here. On this part, we don't need everything. Actually, we have to keep what we need, and what we don't need, we have to truncate it. So we go over here again and we click on this particular part. So right now we just select, we want the city, we want to see the country. So let's go with the country. So we need the keys, territory here, and the country code. So we're going to go with geographic key right here. And this particular English country region is what we're going to pick. And once we've done that, we can click on OK. So there you go, we have this. So if you look at this now, we don't want to keep this. I just want to use country. So country right here. And what I do, I hit my enter key. This is what I have. So let's move down to this particular part. This is one of my interested area that I love. So what I'm going to do right here right now is that I want to show you how to build your own date table from the scratch, all from the scratch. So we don't want to keep those particular ones we have right here. So we have lots of the tables right here. We can just defaultly keep it and start using it, but that wouldn't help us to learn. So let's do it from the scratch. So all I'm going to keep right now is actually this particular, this particular date right here. So for every other thing, I'm going to delete them off. So I'm going to keep that and say remove other column. And we have this. This is a date. So this date right here needs to be renamed to date. So we have it named to date. So the first thing I'm going to do is to extract the year to see how many years of data we have right in this particular date. So what I'm going to do right now is to go to add column. So when you use add column, it add new column to whatever you're doing. So when you use transform, the transform will overwrite the column you are in. It doesn't actually duplicate it, but this add column do duplicate this and give you a new view based on what you specified. So right now we are on that. So go ahead and click on this particular date right here. And the first thing I'm going to do is to extract the year. Over here, I have my year. And if I look at it now, so here we have it. If I click on this particular place, you have this right now. So I don't want all of those years. I just want to keep from year 2005 to 2008. So for 2009, I'm going to take it off. So now I've trimmed it to what I want because that is the years I have in my main data set. Okay, now to further build our date table, we need to actually add the month. So to add the month, we always want to reference this particular column right here, which is this one. Then we go over to add column. Don't be on transform. What happens if you stay on transform to do this? Look at it. Now I'm on transform. You still see this particular date when you're on transform. Most of those particular things you have right here right now are what you have when you click on add column. So let's see what happens when we do it on transform. So what we want now is to extract the name of our month, or to extract month. That is the month number. So it doesn't extract that for us. Instead, it actually overwrites the one we have right here, and we don't see our full date again. What do? We have to come over here and remove that step. So why am I removing this step? Why don't I just click on this particular setting icon? Because this one doesn't have that settings icon, so we have to remove it. So it has been removed. To do it rightly, all we have to do is to come over to add column, then we come over here. So we go over to this particular place, we pick this particular month, and that gives us our month number. Over here I have to rename it to what? To month number. So it has the reason. So I'm going to show you why I'm doing this in a jiffy. So once we have done that, so what we can do next is to actually change this one to date type of what? Of a whole number, which is what it is. So it's right on a whole number already, and this one is on a whole number. So let us leave it like that. So over here we click on it again on add column. We go over here, we click on what? We click on month. So this time around we are going to get the month name. So here we go, month name. So we have month name here. On my month name, what I'm going to do right now, I don't want to keep this particular full of it. So I want to shorten it to the short format. So how do I do it? So this is where the transform comes in, because I want to overwrite what I have in this column. So to do that now, what I'm going to do is just to go over to where we have extract. So we have extract and we have split. They actually serve different purposes. So I'm going to actually say first character. I want to keep my first character, and if I click on that, what is going to happen? It's going to display this particular box right here to tell me to give the numbers I want to keep. So the first 3 characters needs to be kept, and I'm going to just give it 3. And if I click on OK, look at what we have. So if I have this one open now, this is what we have right here. So very interesting. So now make sure you always, highlight this place to go to add column, and let's add more columns. Like we go to the week, and we go for the week, and we just say week of month. So we have this. It depends on what you want. If this is what you want, you can keep this, but actually this is not what I want. So how can we change this? Let's click on over here. So this is actually giving us what? This is giving us based on this is giving us the M code rather. This is giving us the M code. So if you are very good at M code, writing M code, you can come here and do that. So we're going to learn how to write a little bit of M code in a jiffy. For now, don't let us actually bother ourselves with that. So let us follow the right step. So right now we have to go back right here, and we are on the week. So what we are going to do is actually to select the week of here. Oh no, sorry, that is not what we actually want. Let's go back once again. I'm sorry for that. We'll go on day. So what we want is actually the name of day. So now we're gonna have this, and quickly we have to shorten it. So we go to transform over here, and we go to extract. We extract the first characters, and we just extract the first 3 characters. And when I click on OK, we have it shortened like this. Okay, nicely done, right? So now we can see we have Saturday and we have Sunday, which is actually our weekend. It depends on the country you're watching from. If Saturday and Sunday is not your weekend, you can actually, craft it based on what I'm going to do next. So right now we have to actually check the week type. So on the week type, are we on Saturday or we are on Sunday? So if we are both on Saturday and Sunday, that is going to be our weekend. Then other weekdays would fall under other ones like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will fall under work days, right? So let's go ahead and add a new column, and over here we're going to actually add a conditional column this time around. So click on conditional column. So over conditional column, I'm going to type here week type or types. So over here I'm going to select that particular day name, and over here I'm going to say if the name is actually equals to Sunday, SUN for Sunday. So that is going to be our weekend. Then I'm going to actually add another one. So we check this again. I'm going to rename this, but it will not affect it. So if this equals to Sat for Saturday, then that is going to be our weekend as well. So otherwise, it's going to be our weekday. So we can come over here and click on add, and that has been added over here for us. So let's quickly do this formatting and make sure we have text over here. So that is going to be A, B, and C. So if I check for just, weekend, so let's click on OK right here and see. So we have Saturday and Sundays, right? So now we can clear the filter over here. So click on clear filter, and this is exactly what we want to have. So we have one more thing to go. That is going to be the quarter. How do we add the quarter over here? So let me scroll to this end and come over here to add the quarter. So we click on add column, and over here you can see, if I scroll down, we can see where we have the quarter over here. So now you can choose the quarter of year, and what you see is 1 to 4. So click over here to check that. So 1 to 4, it doesn't really make any sense. So how do we add like quarter or Q to actually identify every single quarter? So very simple. All you have to do is to go to transform. So come over here to transform, and on transform right now, let's think outside the box. So can we do split or extract? This time around, we're not trying to split anything or extract anything. Instead, we're trying to add something. That is where this particular format comes in. So click on format and go over to where it says add prefix. So click on add prefix for right here. And now what do you want to add? So to add prefix right now, I can decide to add quarter. So like this. And if I click on OK, I have something like this. So now it's now a text. So if I click on it, so we have quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4. But actually, we don't want this. We want something a little bit shorter. That is going to make our chart look much more beautiful. So what can we do? Let's click over here and edit this. So instead of us to use the full quarter, why don't we just use Q for quarter? Can you see? Or can use QTR for quarter. Very beautiful. Just click on OK right here, and that updates this for you. So we have our full quarter. Beautiful, right? Okay. The final part of this is actually on the customer table. So we are done with the date table. We are now on the customer table. On the customer table, we want to select what we want from the customer table. So the very first thing we're going to do on the customer table is to actually, first of all, do some little changes right here. If you look at it, the customer table has the first name and the last name in a separate columns. So we want to bring them together. So make sure you click on the first name first and hold your control key to click on the last name. And let's go to transform right here. Then you can see where it says merge column. And once you click on that, it's actually going to merge your columns for you. But before then, we have to give it a delimiter. So the separator here is going to be space. And right here, we can actually type in full name. So under this merged, so full name. Then once we click on OK, so we have the full name combined together right here. So once we have this, the next thing we're going to do right now is to actually keep the ones we want and take off those ones we don't want. So it's very easy for us to do when we go to home. So before you do this, make sure you study what are those columns right here and all of that. And before then, again, speak to your client and know what column he needs and exactly know what you want or the kind of analysis you want to do and what columns could give you those insights you are looking forward to seeing. So clicking right here, I'm going to go to choose columns, and here we have it. So to select this, the keys are really important. So I'm going to keep those keys. Any keys here would be kept. So my full name is what I've just created. I'm going to keep that. So the birthday is very important because I want to see those customer age group that are, profitable and all of that. So we have to create it from our birthday right here. So I'm going to keep it. So what about the gender? So to determine the sex of our, buyers. You get it? So we need to keep that as well. So what else again do we need to actually keep? So you have to actually check around to see what will definitely, be great for you to run this analysis. So those ones I've just kept right now are cool. So if we need something else, we can always come back right here to edit it. Now you have it. So one beautiful thing you can do is to actually come right here to rename this in case you want to make changes to it. So right click and you see rename, and here I can just say choose column. So when next I want to bring in on that column, all I'm just going to do is just to click over here, and maybe I want to add a column here. Let's choose a particular column. So let's say education. We want to add it. So I click on OK. So it will be added automatically for me right here. So all of that. So I don't need it actually. I'm going to take it off. So no, we don't want you. So click on go. So this is beautiful. So when it comes to shaping our data and keeping those columns that we want, we have just gotten this done 100%. So what is left right now is to actually load this back to our, model, and we continue from there. So if you look at this now, this is gray because already we don't have our data inside Excel any longer. So the data is already present in the model. So we can always click on this and look at it. All the changes we've made right now, we start getting itself right here. As you can see, it's going to be processed before we have any privilege to do any other thing. So it's working on it one after the other, getting everything ready for us. All right, so we have just cleaned our data. The next thing right now is to actually get to see where our data is. So click on the top ribbon here and you're going to see this particular power pivot over here. So once you click on the power pivot, you can just click on manage and that window is going to pop out right now, or let me call it under machine entirely, where your data is stored. This particular part of the Excel can take millions of rows of data, right? Because you have limitation on what you load inside Excel worksheet. So here you can load like 10 million rows of data and beyond. So this is our data. This is our table here, and that table, on that table. So you can see here, and we have the date table, we have the customer table. So instead of us to actually denormalize those tables right here into a single table to create pivot table, we are not going to do that. No need of writing XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP to combine the table because we want to build any pivot table or analysis. So what we can do right now is to go to this particular part here where it says diagram view. So once you click on it, you see all the tables we have in a different view. So now this is what you have. So first of all, I'm going to have this arranged. First, here is my, fact table. And those ones here, they are my dimensional table. So I'm going to move this over here. So let's scroll over here to pick all of this. Then, yeah, we have it. So we have all the tables in here. So it is time for we to create our relationship. Just like what we do when we create a VLOOKUP that link a column from under table to the one we are using. So here I'm going to just write this down. So there we go. All right, so we have this. The first thing I'm going to do is to start from my left hand corner right here. So I have to some kind of connect sales territory key so to my fact table or fact internet sales. So I'm going to drag this one. So you can drag this, either you drag this one or you drag the one you have over here to the one you want to link it to. Is all your choice. So let's go with this one here. So on top of this, and now it's going to create one-to-many relationship. If you are new to it, it's very simple. So once you see one here, you know that one key is existing here, but that key actually has, duplicate over here. And the next thing again is my product key. So I'm going to drag my product key into the product key I have over here, and that will definitely create many to one again. So over here we have geography key. So we have to locate if we have any geographic key right here to connect it with. So let's do it. So if you look at it, the geographic key is not directly connected to this particular table. So it has to be connected to my customer table. So in that case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this away and bring this right here. And now I push this to the side. So my geographic key can be connected to my customer key over here. Can you see? Let's drag it. So now this is what it is. So my customer key can be linked to my fact table. That is under many to one relationship. Or let us deselect it. So we're gonna push this one here. And that is correct. So now we have it. So if you want to see it, you can push this one down and you can see right here. Let's have something like this. I think this is not nicely done. So this arrangement is good. So nicely done. Okay. Now what happens if mistakenly you did something weird and you want to make a change to it? How do you do that? So it's very simple to do. I'm going to show you. So now we have to link our date table to our fact internet sales, but as you can see, we do not have any date column right here, because when we actually, remove some columns, we remove the date or the other dates from this particular table. How do we do it? So for we to go back right now, you can see here we have this switch to workbook. So if I click on it, I'm here. Now I can come over here, right click on it, you can go to edit. So coming into here now, we have to bring back that particular, one. So let's click on this particular part here, I presume. Okay, now here we go. This is it. So remove other columns. If I click on it now, here we go. So now we can look for the date we are looking for. So let's scroll down a bit. So you can see we have order date, we have due date, and we have ship date. So what we're going to be working with is the order date. So I'm going to pick the order date and bring it over here. So now the order date is right here. We can now go ahead and use this to create our relationship with our date table. So I'm going to come here and close, and that will definitely load itself back right here. So it's very small, so we'll be done soon. So quickly we go back to our model here, so manage it, and we can now see, if I scroll down, we have order date. So we can drag our order date. Let's say I want to drag my order date here, and I mistakenly do the wrong thing and drag this into my, let's say this one into this. So it's not working. Let's try it again. Now let's see what we're going to have. So we have this that is still working, but not really working. It still gives us many-to-one relationship, but this is not what we want. So where we ought to have linked it to was this particular order date, not order key or order date key here. So how could we solve this? So if I go ahead and just go to design, I presume, let's go to design, and you can see where it says manage relationships. And if I click on it right now, those are all the relationships I have. So which one do I want to edit? So it might be a little bit complicated here. Let me cancel. The best place to do this now is just for you to figure out which particular tables are some kind of having that issue. Is this particular order date or date table and the fact table here? So I can actually come right here, right click, and click on edit relationship here. So once you have done that, now you can see the relationship. So what do we do? On this one is 100% right on the date here. So on the part of the fact internet sales is something wrong. So let's scroll to where we have the order date writing, and here is the order date here. So you can see we have our order date, and that is right. So we can now click. That is how you can actually manage or edit your relationship if you think they are wrong. So right now we have created our relationship. Anywhere you see star is the many side. I'm not going to go into detail on how this one is looking or whatever it is. So this is just a basic thing you need to understand about creating a relationship. Instead of you to, denormalize the table to create pivot table, it's better you do this. So once you are done, you can actually, go from here. Sorry, just click on this and it takes you to the workbook. So we are 100% ready to go. So don't forget to save your work. Is very, very important. So we have to save this work somewhere. So I'm going to save this. So I have just saved this with YouTube post dashboard. So I'm going to change my, our file type or extension. Instead of me to use workbook, I'm going to use Excel macro enable. We're not going to write any macro though, but I just want to save with this. So please follow me and do this saving just like this. So click on save, and that is exactly what you want. So we have done all the necessary things we need to do before we start creating an analysis. So for now, I don't need to keep this. I'm going to take it off. So let me rename this particular sheet to analysis. So now I'm going to click create on that one. I'm going to name this one to dashboard. So this is what it is. So before we get into detail, let us look at what it is that we want to get into. So over here is the dashboard we have completed 100%, and as you can see it, so it has this particular part that is actually telling us, the changes between the previous year and this year. If you look at it, the year selected is actually 2006 and it's actually comparing to 2007. As you can see, it's actually down. So we can clear the filter 100% by using this particular clear filter right here. So let me click on it and let us look at what it is. So now the filters had been cleared 100%. So irrespective of how many filters you actually applied on it, it can be cleared in one hand. So let's select 2007 and let's see what happens. In 2007, you can see the cost of goods sold is more high by 0.11%, 0.26%, that is very positive. So, but our profit margin is down by 13.79%. I'm going to show you how to do all of this. And when you apply this filter, it tells you the percentages are showing changes between 2007 and 2008. So this is one of the dashboard right here. I can click on this particular detailed dashboard, and that is exactly what you see here is all about our product and our customers plus the locations, right? And you can see the highlight we have right here to highlight the most important key, because we don't want people to think like, what the heck is going on? If you look at this right now, we are showing the top 5 profitable products, and over that we can look at this now that, okay, here is actually giving us what percentage does the top 5 contributed to the overall product. So here the order is actually this. So what if you want to see it in Canada? So you can just select Canada, and everything you see right now is Canada. In Canada, the top 5 products actually contributed 45%, while others contributed 54%. And you can see we have 119 products, and we have 606 products in our store. Only 119 was sold in Canada. And unsold is actually 487. You can look at that. So you can see our customers, right? So the customer does not actually have much difference with that of others, right? Because we have lots of customers. We have 830 customers, and average age of our customer is 44 years. And you can see the contribution of the top 5 customers is just 5.7%. Very interesting. So it's better you keep it some kind of descriptive like this to make people to actually read it in a very simple way. And you can see the color right here, is showing, the top 3 colors and others. So right here, we are trying to highlight the age group that is actually, patronizing us very much. And over here, we are looking at the price of our product, like product pricing. So we have products that are expensive and less expensive. Any product that is below $150 is less expensive. Anyone above $150 is actually expensive. So custom chart right here is going to actually help you to see it by country. So very interesting, right? So if you come over here right now, that is what you see. Okay, how do we start creating this? That is the next thing we are about to get into. So to do that, let's see what it is that you need to know first. All right, everyone, if you have been this far, so we are actually on our road to create a very great dashboard. So we're going to be creating 2 different dashboards from the data we have just transformed. And the first dashboard will definitely contain those information you have on my screen. Pause it and take a look at what we have right here. This is what we want to have on our first dashboard. Then the second dashboard will definitely contain all of those information I have right there. The first thing I do when I get my data set is to look at it and see what are the possible, information or insights I can draw out of it. So those are the insights we're going to be drawing out of those data sets or those tables we have modeled, and we have gotten them ready for analysis. So let's get it. So the very first thing I do when I use Excel for my analysis is to actually create different sheets. And the first sheet here would actually be for my analysis. So I'm going to type here analysis. Let me use 1 so I can rename it later after all. So the second thing is just for me to add a new sheet. And on this sheet, I'm going to call it my dashboard. So we can name our dashboard to like time analysis dashboard or time series dashboard. Okay, now I don't love to see those grid lines when I create my report. So when I create my dashboard, the very first thing I'm going to do is just to get them off. So go over to view here and you can see these grid lines. So once I've done that, you can see we have plain canvas to work with. So the column and the rows should be gotten like off, all those numbers and all those letters. So that is going to be under headings. So click on the headings right here and take it off. So on and off, we're going to be coming to formula bar, turn it on and turn it back off when we are done creating. But right now I'm going to leave it this way. So let's quickly hit back our analysis one. This is where we're going to be creating our analysis right on. So I'm going to click right here. The next question you might have in mind is like, okay, how do I bring in my data now that the data is not actually visible right here? So it's very simple. Click on the top ribbon here and go to your insert. So when you come to insert, you have two pivot table right here. We have pivot table and you have recommended pivot table. So if you are actually a learner and you want to know, we want the AI in Excel to actually create your pivot table for you and analyze the data for you, you can use this feature. But we're not actually interested in this one. Instead, let us click over here. So just click on this particular arrow down and it has it open for you. So you look at this particular from data model. We have our data right in here. Let's click on it. Okay, now it's asking us, do we want to use the existing worksheet or we want to create a new one? So let us use the existing one. You can make a choice of where you want to actually have it start from. So let's start from here. So click on OK. So we have just created our pivot table. And if you look at this particular part right now, those are those tables we have when we actually clean our data and when we created our relationships. Okay. So most of our time in this particular analysis, we're going to be writing measures instead of you just writing or using functions. So we can write measure to create advanced calculation. So we want to actually organize those measures in one single table. How do we do that? So let's quickly click here and click on data. So from data, click on get data right here and scroll down to this particular part where it says from other sources and scroll down to where it says blank query. So click on the blank query and it's going to take us to Power Query. Okay, now the blank query has nothing in it. So we don't want to put anything inside the blank query. We don't want any column or rows. So let us just double click and rename it to all measures. So here is our all measures. We're going to organize any measures we create right in here, and that is all. So the next thing is for you to close and load to. So we're going to choose that we want to load this into our model. Only create connection and click on OK. So here we have it. There's nothing in it, so it's very swift. So here we have it completely. Let me close this part. So if I come over to all, you can see here is my all measures. So the first calculation we're going to do right now is to see how we can use DAX to tell us how many transactions have we had over time. So to do that now is very simple and easy. Click over to Power Pivot here and let's go to manage. So sorry, not manage. So let's go to measures right here. So when you click on measures, you have two different measures here. So you have new measure and you have manage measure. So if I click on new measure, I'm going to actually write my first measure and my first measure should be passed in here. So if you're not seeing all measures here, so you might be seeing any other table. So just click on here and choose where you want that particular measure you are creating to be passed in. So over here, we name the measure we want to create. So I'm going to name my own numbers of transaction using the hash and transaction. Okay, the next thing is for me to come over here and type what I want. So what I want right now is to count the numbers of rows I have in my fact table, and that will give me the total transaction we've had over time. How do we do that? So we have a function in DAX that is called count rows. So count rows count all the rows irrespective of it having blanks on whatever. So it counts all the rows. And what we're going to do right now is this. So you need to pay attention to this particular part where you have this. Can you see it? So here is your count rows. And after the count rows, you actually have this part here. That says table, right? Can you see that now? That part that says table is from the count rows. The count rows is looking for something before it works. And this particular table is what you have to provide for it to return something to you. And we're going to give it table. And that table is going to be fact table. So if I just type my fact, so you have fact sales, fact internet sales. And if you see the square bracket, whatever you have in the square bracket, those are columns. Then our table is this: cost of goods sold, cost, customer key here. They're all columns. So I'm going to choose this one over others. Then we'll close it. So as you can see, we have it right here. So if you want to test it, if this is working, you can check formula, and this is 100% working. So how do we want to format it? You can actually come to category right here. So choose number, and we can come here and take off this and go for what? Go for a whole number. Just do this. Then you click on OK. So we've just done our first calculation using DAX. So on a default, Excel can actually give you this if you just drag any column into this, and not just any column. Sorry, if you just drag any column from the fact table, not from all the tables. So let's come to fact table here. So we can drag any column irrespective of text or the kind of data type it has. So I'm going to drop in this particular ship date key here into this particular place. So let's watch it now. So now it's giving us a sum because it's actually a number. So watch if I go ahead and drag what we have in here, that is the text. So let me search for that. I'm going to go for what could be text over here. Text. Oh, I think we don't have all the, okay, we don't have it. Okay, if we want to get the same value, what we can do right now is to come here and choose this, and now go to count, then you click on OK. So we have the same number. But having the knowledge of using DAX to do this is actually paramount. So, and you have just learned that. So let us go ahead and remove this off. The next thing we need to have right here, right now, is the total revenue, which we have calculated using, Power Query before. I'm just showing you different ways to actually calculate something in Power BI. So let's scroll down now. Now we're going to get our total profit. Okay, let's get our cost of goods sold, revenue, and profit. Then we have to go for our quantity. So we bring in our quantity. So for quantity, the quantity is already a value. So the only time we're going to actually use DAX to actually recreate our quantity, which is going to return the same number, is when we want to actually, change the filter context, and we have to use calculate over it. For now, I'm not sure if we're going to do that over here. So I'm just going to show you a little bit about DAX in Excel, but for now, let's leave it that way. So we have gotten our quantity right here, right? Okay, the next thing right now, we want to see the numbers of products we are selling. Okay, now before we go into that, let me show you something over here. We have two different tables, right? The first table is actually dim for dimension, which is equal to lookup table, and we have the facts. Sorry, I think it's facts internet sales. So we call it fact table. So your fact table is equal to your transactional table. So the transactional table is where you record all the daily transaction. Over here, if we have ID 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, so which means we have these, and these IDs are for products. So now the first ID is for a particular product. This ID 1 can be product A. So this product A can be bought 1,000 times. Then definitely we're going to have 1,000 times of 1 as a key. So over here, if we sold this, and we don't sell this, so the count of our products in this particular table is actually 5. But over here, because we sold product 1, 2, 3, and 4, the count of our product here will be 4. So I want you to have this knowledge before we delve into a calculation we're about to get into. So right now, if we were to actually say, okay, how many products have we sold over time is equal to 4. How many products do we have in our store? We have 5 products. How many products have we not sold? Then we have not sold 1 product, and that is product 5. So you get it. So let's put this in practical and look at what it is that we're going to have in return. So over here, let's go ahead and use DAX to do that. So go over here and create a new measure. So I'm going to type here all products. So for all products, what I'm going to do right now is to use a particular function that would definitely count how many rows we have in our product table. So remember, in our product table is a unique list of values, right? So I'm going to use count rows. So using the count rows, I'm going to specify the table, product, and close. So we check it. As you can see, we don't have any issues. So we change it to whole number. We click on OK. So we have 606 products. So how many of those products have we sold? How do we do that? So we go over here now. We go for new measure. And over here, I'm going to type sold products. And then what we're going to do right now is to actually use distinct count. So the question is this: why are you using distinct count? We are using distinct count because we have duplicates of a particular key coming from the product table into here, just like what I've explained earlier. So we need to actually filter off any duplicates of those keys. And now we're going to go to fact table. Inside our fact table, you can see here we have the product key. So we have picked the product key. So now let's close this. So let's check it. Then we have it. That is beautiful. So we can always make sure we use whole number. And we have sold 158 of those products. So you want to know the unsold products, how many are there? We can just go over here and add a new measure. So I think we have gotten unsold. Let me just bring this down. Okay, this is the sold product. So unsold. So for the unsold products now, what we're going to do is to actually bring back those measures we've created. Very easy. Use the square bracket. It's going to give you the list of all the custom calculation we have done, right? So now what we're going to do right now is the all product here. So we're going to subtract this whole product from it, right? So check it out. Nothing. So we use the number. We go for a whole number. And we click on this one. I will click on OK. So now if you look at it, 448 had not been sold. So they are still in our store. Since we bought them from the manufacturer, we have not sold them. This is cool, right? That's beautiful. So one other thing we need to add now for KPI to complete is actually the percentage of profit margin. So for percentage of profit margin, let's go add it. So over here is going to be very simple. I'm going to show you how to do that. So for me to add it right now, I'm going to put here percentage profit margin. To calculate our percentage of profit margin, this is what we do. So we're going to use a function that is existing in DAX called divide. So the divide function here will definitely help you with that. So I'm going to say divide. So what am I dividing? I'm going to divide my profit. Total profit is here. Total profit and divided by total revenue. Then we can close. That is all we need to do. So it has an alternate result. The alternate result now, if you look at it, is actually in square bracket. So if you see anything in square bracket when writing formula in Excel or writing DAX in both Excel and Power BI, that means this is something that is, optional. So if you want to provide that, if I put my comma right here right now, it has highlighted for us. So if there is any division by 0, so we want to see 0, we don't want to see any error. So it will give us 0%. So for that, I'm going to actually select and I'll go over, oh sorry, I think it's number. I'll go over here and select percentage, and yeah, percentage with 1 decimal place. So if I click on OK, there I have it. So you can see the percentage change is actually 41.1%. So I'm going to try to bring this over to here. So let's move it. Okay, so now here we have the percentage change. So we can move it down a little bit. So over here. Okay, the next thing now is actually for we have gotten all the KPIs we want. So before we move further, we need to actually do number formatting. Very, very important. We need to do number formatting. Okay, before the number formatting, what if we want to actually make a change? For example, we want to change, total revenue to total sales. How do we do that? How do we edit this? So what we can do right now is just for we to edit the measure. There are so many ways to do it. You can come over here and click here. So now you can use manage measures, and it gives you the list of all the measures you have written. So we can definitely click on any one of them and you click on edit, and it takes you back right here again, and you can make any changes to whatever you want to change right here. Okay. Another place to do that again is when you go to this all measures here, and you can right click on any one of this, then you can click on edit measure, and that gives you the ability to actually have this actually edited as well. So that is how you edit it. So let's cancel. So now we have to go into the number formatting and take a look at how we can actually format this. So those numbers I want to format are those one here, this and this. So I want to format them. I don't want to have this. I don't want to have the default number formatting. Ordinarily, I can come over here to home and do comma, separator, or I select any currency I want from here, but I want something much more advanced than this. So let me show you how to do that. So go ahead and do Ctrl+1. Then from there, we can select the custom. And over here, we can take off what we have inside here and actually give our own custom number formatting. So the first thing you do is to actually open a square bracket. Inside the square bracket, type 999,000. So that is going to be 69. So right here, this is it, what you should do. So 999,000 is what you need to type in. So we're going to actually come to the front of it and see if it is less than this particular number we have here. Then come to the back and actually have it closed. So in that case, we want to actually format this to 0.00. So if you want to have decimal places right on it, you need to do this. And you have comma on it. So as you can see now, it has changed. So pay attention to this particular place. It's very, very important. So if you pay attention to here, so you see what I'm doing, and as well pay attention to whatever is going to come in here, that will definitely give you what you want. So now how do we want to format this? We want to format this into 1,000. So we put K and we have this highlighted. So this is what we have. So what if you want to have space between it? So what you do now is to actually come over here and put a space, and you can see we have a space if you don't want to have it close to it. So I might want to have mine close to it, so no problem, but let's do one space. So that is for 1,000 number formatting. So the next thing is actually going to be for million number formatting. So what you do now is this. So you put in here a semicolon punctuation mark from your keyboard, and once you have done that, the next thing you do is actually open a new square bracket, and you're going to see if this one is actually I think the previous one we use less than, so we're going to use that less than again. So this one is going to be if there's less than 999 million. So for 999 million, so we're going to put 9 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So just take it step by step. So once you have done this, the next thing you have to do right now is not different from what we have done previously. Then we have to actually go ahead and close this. Then once we have done that, we're going to do 0.00, and inside here, open the square bracket and I think is this square bracket, this the double quotation, one space, and in capital letter we have M. So we go ahead and actually have this one closed. So the next one is going to be the otherwise, right? So for the otherwise, your semicolon punctuation mark is here. So you're going to put 0.00, and over here is going to be billion. Then we're going to put, space and capital letter B. We have this one closed. So let's see if this would definitely work on what we have. So once we are done, we can go ahead and click on OK. So I think it works on this. I don't know why this selection does not really take that. So what we can do right now is just to copy this one for orders. So okay, it does work. We have missed something. That is where we are having it this way. Let's quickly correct this. So if you look at it, here we have one single comma. So, and over here, before we can be able to actually have it formatted rightly, we have to come down to this place. We're going to, before the double quotation that has the M in cap letter into it, so we have to do 2 commas. And it has actually corrected exactly what we want for us. Can you see it over here? It has been corrected. So right now, if I go ahead and click on my OK key, now it has it fixed. I can just quickly, have it on this one, and I can have the same formatting on this very one. That is beautiful, right? Okay, now this one here is a value that should show in dollars, right? So this one as well, and this one, which means we have to create one more to show this. So any of those one here, exclude this one. This one is actually quantity. We don't want to put it on that. So 1, 2, and where the heck is the other one? That is gonna be okay. I think that is all. So what we can do right now is to hit Control 1 and copy this over from here. So once we copy this, now I'm going to cancel. Okay, I think what we need to do now is just to come here and edit this. So over here we can put our $sign at this beginning of the 0. So we come over here, we put it at the beginning of the 0 here. So we come over here in case we have it in billion, we put it over here, and now we can click on OK. So the copy I copied is actually a mistake. So you don't need to copy, just for you to format this. And it's going to create a new one for you because this one is going to stay the way it is. So let's click on OK. Now we have dollars on this one, but this one, we don't have the $sign because they are not actually anything that has to do with currency, wherever. So this is what you do to actually have this created, and we have just created our KPI for the first time. So the next thing now is for we to actually start populating our dashboard with this. And you know what it is? Let me show you what we're going to have on our dashboard. Okay, on our dashboard is to have those cards right here, and create this before we definitely jump into those ones and have them created.